Hi everyone and welcome to the Rise Project. My name is Aaliyah and in today's video we will be making burritos. This recipe today is vegetarian and is based on frozen vegetables. However, once you get used to this recipe, we encourage you to use up any leftovers that you might have in the fridge, including cooked meats, if you do actually consume meat. As always guys, before I started cooking I gave all my counters a wipe down and I will be cleaning as I go along to save time at the end and so that I can actually get round to eating my burritos that little bit quicker. And with that being said, let's get into the video. Now to make these burritos, first we need to make the filling. Now, the filling that I'm going to be making is exactly the same as the one I've done for the quesadillas. So if you have made the quesadillas recipe and have leftover filling from the quesadillas, you can actually use that in these burritos too. But just in case you don't have any leftover filling and you haven't seen that video yet, here is a recipe that you're really going to enjoy cooking. Here I have 2 tablespoons of oil in a pan and I've added 1 chopped onion. I've used a brown onion because that's what I had actually available. You can use a red onion if that's what you've got available too. We're basically going to be frying this off on a low to medium heat until it's soft and lightly brown only. The reason we use a low to medium heat is because it's easier to control what's happening in your pan on a low to medium heat in comparison to a high heat. The only time I really cook on a high heat in the kitchen is when I'm actually cooking stir fries, because stir fries benefit from the extra high heat. So for this recipe, low to medium heat is more than great to be able to cook those onions to a nice, soft, light brown consistency. Now to get your onions nice and soft and lightly brown will take about 3 to 4 minutes. You do need to stir your onions to stop them from sticking and potentially burning. Nobody really likes the taste of burnt onion, so we always make sure we stir to ensure that doesn't happen. If you find the onions are turning a darker colour quite quickly, that could be a sign that the heat is too much. Just turn down the heat a little bit. You are in control, so you can do that. I'll continue to stir the onions and watch over them until they are, as I said, lightly browned and cooked. Now, as my onions are coming up to a light brown colour and I actually feel they are cooked enough, I'm now going to be adding in my herbs and spice mix, which you will have found in a little envelope in your food pack. The next step is to now stir those herbs and spices and onions together to cook through the herbs and spices. Now, one of the ways you can tell that the items are cooking is you'll be able to start smelling the fantastic smells of those spices and herbs. This will take approximately 2 minutes. You do need to consistently stir though, because we don't want them to burn. After 2 minutes, you're now ready for the next step, which is to add the passata to the onion, spice and herb mix. So I'm just going to add that in and then give it a good stir. Once you've given that a good stir, add in 250 millilitres of water to the passata and then give it a stir again. Now what you're going to do is you're going to bring it up to the boil, so you're going to keep it up on a medium heat. You're going to put the lid on and you're going to cook the tomato sauce for 5 minutes with the lid on. During this time, when you are going to have the lid on, you will be checking up on the sauce and stirring it occasionally to stop it from sticking to the pan. We do not recommend that you leave the kitchen whilst you've got pans on the hob. Always keep an eye on pans, and especially those with liquids in them that may potentially boil over. Now after 5 minutes, you're going to find that your sauce has reduced down, and this is where the magic happens. Make sure you give the passata mix a good stir, and then we're going to add the frozen vegetables straight to the tomato mix. I've not defrosted them, I've simply added them frozen from the pack. Of course I've weighed them out, but they are frozen, they have not been defrosted. I'm now going to give this a stir and make sure all the vegetables are covered in the tomato sauce. If you do find some lumps of vegetables, just give them a gentle tap to break them up. Now you're going to give them a good stir for about 1 to 2 minutes to just make sure the tomato sauce and the vegetables basically mix and become one. Now to these vegetables, you're going to now add in 250 millilitres of water. Now the reason we're doing this is because we do wish to cook the vegetables for another 6 minutes. Once you've added the water, you're going to give the vegetable mixture a nice stir. Now you can, of course, use a vegetable stock cube if you wish to, but if you do use vegetable stock, guys, make sure you remember that and you don't add any extra salt, because salt is also in your stock cube. So we need to be careful of exactly how much salt is being added to the recipe. Now with the lid on, you're going to cook the vegetable mixture for at least 6 minutes, which will give you a nice cooked vegetable. If you like your vegetables super soft, cook for 8 to 9 minutes. And here you can see the vegetable mixture is quite dry, which is what we're looking for. If there's too much liquid still left in the vegetables, take the lid off and cook it for another 2 minutes so that the water can evaporate. Now here I have a plain tortilla. You can use plain white tortillas, or you can actually use a 50-50 one if you wish to, or whatever flavour one you like. There's loads on the market available these days, but for this video I'm actually using a best of both. So it's 50% whole wheat, 50% plain. Now on your recipe card you will have noticed I've given you instructions to cook some plain rice, and you will have been thinking, where does that go? Well, this is where the plain rice comes in. Here you can see I've got the cooked vegetables that I've just cooked, and into this I'm adding the plain rice to make the burrito filling. So I'm just adding the rice. I will also be adding in coriander. You do not need to add coriander if it's not something you like. Some people don't like coriander as a herb, and that's absolutely fine. This is about you being creative too. I will also be adding in 2 tablespoons of lemon juice to give it a nice tangy, zingy flavour. As you can see, I'm giving it all a nice stir to get all those flavours mixed together. If you do have any, say for example, leftover spring onions or leftover, say, red onions, you could always chop them up and add them to the mix too. And we are now ready to roll up our burritos. Place your tortilla wrap on a flat surface. Here I'm just using a chopping board. That's absolutely fine. If you've got clean work surfaces, you can also use them. Now what I'm going to do is add 1.5 tablespoons of the mixture onto the wrap to one side, leaving a gap at the top and the bottom to allow me to fold the actual tortilla wrap and create the actual burrito. Feel free to watch this bit a few times if it makes you more confident and comfortable with rolling the burrito. Here I'm also adding some mozzarella cheese. You don't have to, but I did have some left over, so you can add some mozzarella cheese. If you want to add some herbs, you can also add some herbs. That's entirely up to you. That is completely optional. Here you can see me folding, so I folded the top and the bottom, and now I've folded the side. And then what I'm going to do is gently roll the burrito whilst making sure the sides are tucked in. If they start to sort of point outwards, I'm going to gently tuck them back in, like so, and continue rolling my burrito. And there you have it, guys. That's your burrito. You're going to repeat that process with the rest of your tortillas to create more burritos for you and your family. These burritos can be enjoyed hot or cold, so you can put them in the fridge and keep them for up to 3 days. And that's it, guys. We hope you've enjoyed making your burritos with us today. We've enjoyed making this video. As always, if you've got any feedback, do let us know. You could always send us photos of your creations. We are always happy to see what you guys get up to in your kitchens. And with that, until the next video, guys, take care. Bye.